Welcome back to All in Good Sport. I'm Chris Tarkle and I'm here with Joe Rainbow.
Hiya.
Alfie Langford.
Hello.
And Jimmy Blackburn. Yeah,
Hello.
welcome back. I'm very, very excited to be back. It has been far
It's
too
been a long time,
long.
hasn't it?
I know that we planned, there was thoughts of doing podcasts over the summer. That never materialised, but we are fully back, fully here. Is this season, did we have a season 2 last year? We did, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah.
So I think this will be year 2, season 1,
Nice.
is what I'm going to refer to
Yeah.
it
Feels
as.
very fortnighty.
Yeah, it does. But no, we're back. Hopefully coming to you. We haven't got I think it'll be Mondays.
Yeah,
The aim is for it to be Mondays.
Look,
we're
we're
all
all
very
busy
time
people.
restricted, aren't
Yeah.
we? So we've got to sort of...
Yeah,
Got it now,
Proddy's a
obviously.
very busy man, so it's when we can get him, we get him.
Yeah.
But Mondays, hopefully every week, obviously on YouTube and Spotify. So
Yeah.
don't know what you're listening on, but one of those two, more than likely.
Have we still got listeners?
I don't
Well,
know.
we don't know. We'll have
We
to
kind of
gauge
fell
after
off.
this
Let me
episode,
have a
won't we?
really quick check, right? Because I know that at the end of kind of last year, we did fall off a little, but
Maybe being the first one back, we might get
being
a
the
little
first one
spike,
back,
do you
I
know what
hope we get a little boost.
The people have been waiting.
Yeah,
we
to be
have.
fair,
We've kept
the,
them waiting a
the,
while.
the
haven't we?
one that did really, really badly actually was where Joe wasn't here,
Oh,
Um,
right.
and that
Oh,
had
can't
that
do
got
that.
19 views.
Which one was that?
When your eardrum,
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I forgot
That was
about
a long time ago,
yeah,
wasn't it?
that was 7 months ago.
Really?
But the Noah Williams
Wow.
one, that's on 167 views.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't there. It was just
No,
the
no,
actor
no,
talking
but
about it.
yeah.
Who actually did do another interview with Noah Williams over the summer. So if we can find that clip somewhere, then we'll play it in
Yeah,
a future
get it
episode.
on.
Yeah, we should do that really. But yeah, no, what's going on? Other than we'll exclude sport for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Life-wise, what's going on, boys? Any major updates? Anything key going on?
I think our producer has been putting his fingers in many pies.
Yeah,
Like
that's one way to describe it
Alfie,
for sure.
That's one
tell
way
us,
of saying
tell
it.
us what you're up to now with uni, because you're a bit of a star.
Quite busy. The main thing is head of sport for LSTV.
Tidy.
We're trying to produce some sort of video every week, or at least every other week. So we've had 2 society swaps so far. American football on the first one. Then we did skateboarding last week. And Jimmy, you're going to be involved in tomorrow's fencing society swap.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I've never done fencing before. I've only ever seen it on the telly. And
It'd be a bit of fun, though, wouldn't it?
you don't often
Yeah.
see big fellas doing fencing.
Ooh.
But I think there could be a market for that. You might actually break fencing.
What, sumo fencing?
Yeah.
There's a lot more points of contact.
when you say,
Sorry, Jim.
when you say break fencing, you mean I break the stick?
No,
On impact with me.
you could be the sort of mould. You could break the mould of fencers, and they discover that actually you've got the perfect fencers built.
Yeah.
I could be the Rakeem
Yeah.
Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with these society swaps, Prod, tell me how they work.
Basically, LSTV members get involved in a variety of sports, getting mic'd up. And we've also introduced GoPros.
Okay.
Tidy.
We tried them last week. We basically got a pro skater that was there to show us his skills. Yeah.
Tony Hawk.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, not that quite. Not,
We
we're
did
not quite that level.
society swap last week. Was it NFL?
American football.
American
yeah.
football, yeah.
Same vibes.
Yeah.
That's another thing actually that sort of we've all kind of gotten into the NFL
Mm-hmm.
over this. I would say over this summer, especially me and Proddy were chatting about the NFL quite a lot this summer, sort of leading up to the draft and whatnot. But I think now, I don't know about you, Joe, but I
Not
know that
really,
myself,
Mm.
Jimmy and Alfie are all kind of into it.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
it's just better than I thought it would
It
be.
is
It
so
is, yeah.
good, isn't it? Like in terms of sports that I enjoy watching, that's up there with football now for
Mm.
me. Where I'm actually watching it and like I'm locked in.
Like,
Is that because of Wolves?
I'm sure we'll get onto
we
that.
will get on to that.
I'm
but-
sure
but
we'll get
NFL
onto
Red Zone on Sky Sports
Yeah,
on a Sunday,
On a Sunday.
6 p.m. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, it's so good.
So that's imagine like all Premier League fixtures in a weekend
Mm.
being shown, all the goals and all the best bits all
Quality.
at once, and you got commentary. In
I have to say that Scott Hansen might be one of the most impressive human beings of all time.
I don't know how you juggle all of that.
It's literally,
as
it's
a
like someone
presenter.
doing like Soccer Saturday or Soccer Sunday
Mhm.
on their own,
Oh, wow.
like and doing like
Every
bridging the
result
gap between everything,
got, yeah.
monitoring what's going on. It's mental.
Wow.
I think it would be a job that would be obviously incredibly stressful, but also
Mm.
so much fun.
Yeah, I've had the first couple of weeks when it started, getting up at 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
Because obviously both me and Chris kind of picked a team for the season.
yeah.
And the team I picked, the Eagles. both played their first 2 games at the early hours on one of the weekdays. So
Eagles haven't had a bad start though. 3-2
yeah,
and
I think
won
it's
2016 against the Browns yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Tidy. The Bears though,
Yeah,
who are the team I've
Caleb
picked. Caleb Williams, right? He got a bit of stick coming in. There was a lot of talk about him maybe not being the best number 1 pick.
Struggled
whatever.
the first couple games.
Struggled the first few games where the Bears' offensive line was pretty poor, and now he's showing everyone what he can do. Threw 4 touchdowns yesterday, looks like a proper player. And I think if the Bears can upgrade their offensive line going into next year, they could have an elite offense, and I think they could do really well. But we'll just see how they push on, really.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, how's your summer been, mate?
Yeah, it's been alright. It's been busy. Obviously working and being away quite a bit.
So you
Yeah,
do
in
work
terms
in football, don't you?
Yeah, sort
Did you
of.
have
Well,
this
it's-
job when we
it's-
finished last
I
time?
did, yeah. I started in April. It's more of an office sort of job, like head office for the football, so I run the leagues, so it's not really sort of actually down on the pitch doing the football, but it's the same sort of vibes. But yeah, working all summer. In terms of sort of uni stuff and radio stuff, I've obviously got a new radio show with my gorgeous girlfriend.
Oh,
I may add.
What a
That's every Saturday 12 till 1.
what a creep.
And Alfie, you're going to be on that show next week, aren't you?
Oh, well, I was on it
Yeah,
first week.
well, you were, yeah.
Last week, yeah.
What actually?
And
What is the show?
Well, it's a music show. It's called, at the moment it's called My Records. That was
Very
that was a
inventive.
very sort of, when we applied for it, we didn't think we'd get it, so we just put a
Records.
sort of
Yeah.
hold a name in. So we've got to come up with some better names. If you guys can help out with that, maybe.
We can have a go. I'm also dabbling into the own show.
But yeah, you've got your own one now, haven't you?
So this Thursday, 2 till 3, it will be Continental Buffet, which, despite the name,
I initially took it as a food show, didn't
it's
I?
not a food show. It's just a music show. But I wanted to branch out a little bit from sport. I love doing this, but I do want to try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be taking music from, I think we're going to go with Brazil for the first week.
So it's a show based on music from different continents.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So I mean, because I'm doing it bi-weekly, and so are you doing it?
We've got
You're
a
every
weekly
week.
show, yeah.
But I'm doing it bi-weekly, so I've only got 5 or 6 shows until Christmas,
Right,
the end of
okay.
semester 1.
You could hit all the continents by then.
Yeah, just except Antarctica, but I'm sure
Oh.
I don't want to play Happy Feet through the speakers. But yeah, that'll be fun.
It'd be great, yeah.
Chris, you're now head of sport for LSR.
Yeah, that's exciting. We've got our team set up. We should have just had a show. I didn't actually listen this week, but I hope that they did their show. But Monday sport went really well. Friday sport went really well, and Soccer Punch, which had its debut, albeit in not great circumstances because there was no Premier League football this weekend.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Which is less than ideal, but we go properly this week. But it's nice. It's weird though because I'm not actually on the radio at all this year,
Oh,
and,
right, okay.
I sort of I didn't really think about
Is that time constraint again then, really?
Yeah, but I sort of thought about it like I would have not enough time. I have enough time,
Yeah.
and now I'm just missing being on the shows. So it might be the case that semester
Maybe
2 I do
second
put myself
semester.
in on
Yeah,
something.
Yeah. Okay.
But also I think I might start another podcast just to fill the time.
Another one, really?
What's the
An
direction with that, by
American
yourself?
No, that'll be with a lad called Jamie Dilnott, who is Monday Sport.
Okay.
But it'll be an American sports podcast, so baseball, basketball,
Oh, okay.
NFL, kind of everything. But that won't be a weekly one.
Yeah.
That'll be every couple of weeks.
From
In
the
term-
British perspective.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then I also might start my own podcast, like a solo job here,
Oh, lovely.
just for the
In
crack.
terms of our other podcasts, we've got Music Up and Running again.
Music is up and running again. Didn't get started. I've not heard from yet,
Oh.
so we'll see. Obviously, this.
Yeah, Alfie, you've got your Frame by Frame
Probably got frame
podcast.
by
Yeah.
frame.
We've,
Yeah.
we've done 2.
Great, yeah, you're doing better than
Yeah,
us.
yeah, you lot are smashing it. But I'm trying to figure out like what the direction I want to go in if I do my own podcast would be, because I know like kind of vaguely what I want it to be about, but I don't
What-
want
what sort of
to spoil
theme?
it yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it.
Give
yet.
us a hint.
Yeah.
Come on.
No. Just it would be like an hour. It would be an hour of me kind of yapping. but-
Mm,
Okay.
I've got some plans. I don't want to spoil
okay.
the plans yet,
Okay.
just in
okay.
case big podcasts are out there listening. I don't want them to
Yeah.
steal my ideas.
Okay.
You know what I mean, fellas studio, we're looking at you.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, you can find all these shows on Spotify and listen to our radio shows on thisislsr.com.
What we need to do is do a post on the Instagram and we will do this. I'll try and do this tonight. Put a post on the Instagram with all the details for all of our various radio shows,
Yeah.
so that at a glance everyone knows, okay, this is what's going on. This is what I can watch, what I can listen to. Because theoretically, I think between us, there should be something every single day that you can
Yeah,
listen
most
to,
of the
really.
time.
Episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ike's Enterprises.
And if not,
Growing
there's plenty
and
of
growing.
content on Alfie's LSTV. across
Yeah.
so that they keep up
I
to
am
you.
currently messaging about that actually.
Yeah, this guy, right? Honest to God, probably never like is not on his phone. And I just thought he was being like antisocial. No, he's just always messaging people about meetings and like
He's very
opportunity.
busy.
He is.
Mm.
He is so busy. This guy.
But I love it. So-
Yeah, it's good shit.
It's good, yeah.
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 So we're all pretty busy people now.
Mhm.
Definitely.
But we've found this slot, which is great. But I want to get onto the sport, and I want to chat
Yeah.
about our summer of sports, specifically
Okay.
what we've been up to, what we've seen. Because Chris, I saw on your Instagram that you've been to a bit of stuff this summer.
Yeah. I did a lot of. I watched a lot of sport actually. I had T20 finals day, which was really cool. That was at Edgbaston. Lost a lot of money on the bets, but we won't talk about. Although that day you did sort me out with some horses,
I did.
and those horses won. But then I spunked that money on Gloucestershire losing, and they won.
Oh, I thought you were going to say roulette.
No, well, bit of this, bit of that. And then so I played a lot of golf this summer, which was cool. I didn't play golf last time we did this podcast, so
No.
that's a new thing. And I went to Wembley for the first time, which was really cool.
Oh, great.
Saw England play. Who did we play? It was Finland.
Did you win?
Was it Finland?
Yeah,
It was Finland.
1-0, wasn't it?
2-0.
Or 2-0?
Yeah, but England won. It was Harry Kane's 100th cap.
Oh, right,
So
okay,
it was a cool game to be at.
Mm.
But we won. That was a really cool experience. And yeah, I think that's about it, really. Sort of golf is the biggest development in my.
Biggest step
In
up.
my
Cricket is
sport.
cricket. You still playing cricket?
Not really.
No?
No, I kind of stopped playing cricket towards the end of the summer.
Right.
And
Any
took up
reason behind
golf.
that? Just
Um,
tailed off a little bit.
Yeah, I think the thing is with cricket, I love cricket and I love watching cricket, but when you're going and you're having to dedicate 8 hours to a sport on a Saturday,
Yeah.
it's a lot, and like I'm losing out on being able to spend time with other people because
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
playing cricket.
Yeah.
Whereas with golf, I could play a full 18, it'll take me a couple of hours,
Yeah.
and then I still got my whole day. Like golf, I could play at 7 in the
Mm.
morning and still have the whole day ahead of me.
Mm.
Whereas cricket is just that day's gone now.
Fair enough.
I had a great day at the cricket. I went with my dad and my godfather to see England against Sri Lanka
Oh, nice.
at the Oval. It's my first time at the Oval. My first time actually seeing Test cricket live. I went to see the 100 last summer, or I saw a few balls of it, but it got rained off. And I tell you what annoyed me. Look, it was a great day out. Got plastered, standard Test cricket action. But what annoyed me was the bad light.
It's
stopping
terrible,
play.
isn't it?
It's really bad, and the umpires are erring way too much on the side of caution when the batsmen want to be out there, the bowlers want to be out
Yeah.
there.
And I think that's the way it used to be, in that if with bad light, the umpires could ask the batters if they're happy to continue, they can continue. Whereas now, because they've got these stupid light meters, there's a certain reading that means that they can't. But by the same token, they stopped it for bad light, and I was watching on TV and I was messaging you about this. I was saying, like, visually, at least to me, there was no difference between when they stopped for bad light and when there wasn't.
No, it was a very overcast day, and it kind of ruined the experience as a fan a little bit, put a dampener on it, because, there was very slight drizzle in the air, but the rain was never a factor in these decisions. It was just quite dark and cloudy, moody sky. And they just, like,
Sky, who are you?
the umpires, the umpires, they made the decision. I think initially, we play started at 11, and then we had about an hour of play. Then they called it off at 12, and then they were back out at 12:30, and then they had a 2-hour delay after that. But we took some pictures, and some people have posted pictures online of a comparison of the sky when they first called it off, and then when they put the match back on, and then when they called it off again, and there was barely any difference.
No.
So, yeah, I didn't get that. But overall, a great day.
Oh, I bet. Although England lost that test, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Ollie Pope scored 150, but there wasn't many other.
Yeah.
I mean, Duck at 86.
I saw his century.
Yeah, the Sri Lankan fast bowlers were good. I remember that.
Yeah, but England batted well that day.
Yeah.
It was just the couple of days after where they kind of crumbled. But
Yeah,
I didn't see that
second
live.
innings sort of was a big collapse, really.
Yeah.
Anything else over the summer?
I also went to Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Got spotted on TV by my brother, who took a
Oh,
lovely
really?
little screenshot of myself looking immaculate. Next to me mum, we saw Katie Bolter, Britain's #1 women's player, and she won her first round match. Cracking day. It's a long old queue. Like, we were there from 9 o'clock we'd set off from Chippenham at 7, got to Wimbledon, the park, at about 9, and we didn't get into the grounds until 2. So it's a long old wait. and there wasn't many facilities. But again, I would highly recommend, because it's quite good value for money. It was about it was £30 for a day grounds pass, which allows you access to all the grounds bar the 3 show courts. So absolutely, I would highly recommend anyone to go and do that. Fantastic day out. Don't splurge all your money on Pims, because they are like £12. It's
That's
ridiculous. And the strawberries and cream, you get about 4 strawberries and 1 spoonful of double cream. It's not great. But apart from that, when it's a sunny day, it's, best of British. I love it.
Great. Alfie?
The main thing I did sporting-wise over the summer, before I came back to Leeds, was saw Mansfield. A couple of away
Nice.
days.
Oh, good lad, yeah.
Yeah, Barnsley with my brother, when we beat them 2-1. It was quite a horrible game to watch. We had a good about 15 minutes. Then after that, it was watching the clock for the rest of the game.
Was that the game that took you up then at the end of the season? Or?
No, this was the first game of League One.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and that was about the main thing.
Well, you went to see Derby at some point, didn't you? Or was that
yes,
earlier
yeah.
on in the
That
summer?
was at the end of the season.
Last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't manage to get tickets for Mansfield's last game of the season. Where
Did
they
you
were.
not? Oh.
No.
Oh, was that an away game or?
No, it was a home game.
Oh, right,
but
okay.
Didn't manage to get tickets for that. But my mates invited me to go and see Derby's last game of the season,
Great, yeah.
where they got promoted. Ran on the pitch. Felt a bit awkward being a Mansfield fan to run on a Derby's pitch, but
but you got to do it, didn't you?
I just treated it as a Mansfield experience because I didn't get to do it for them. So.
Fair.
But
yeah.
Mansfield, cracking start to
Yeah.
League One life.
Yeah, third in the league. Only
doing
2 points from the top. Won our last 5 games in a row. I didn't think we'd be in this position, I've got to be honest, after the 4-1 thrashing at Lincoln. But we've kind of changed tactics a little bit because Clough doesn't like youngsters. He likes his old players.
Nigel Clough, is that your man?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Son of
yeah.
Brian.
Son of
Yeah,
Brian,
yeah.
yeah.
He loves his Burton players as well, Burton rejects. Yeah, me and Matt Sykes were both at the Burton Mansfield game that finished 3-3.
Is he a Burton fan?
He is, yeah.
Very random.
That was the best game I've seen, like in any
Yeah.
football, because we should have won. We should have put it to bed so early on. Then they went up and was leading, and then we got a penalty last minute.
Blimey.
And it was the best feeling.
Oh my god, yeah, that's sick.
Lovely.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen over summer. Joe?
Yeah, not overthink. Obviously, a bit of Bradford City, but I haven't been to many games this season over the summer, sort of into this year because I've just been so busy. But when I went to Denmark over the summer, I went to see Copenhagen.
That looked
That
really
was
cool.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
That was such a sort of weird vibe to it because it was a foreign game. We were there, and it's just the away fans were immense. You know, we sort of stood next to them, and they travelled about 700 miles or whatever down,
Bloody hell.
and
Wow.
brought a big crowd. So that was a good outing. Obviously, the game was a bit of a dire game, to be honest. I can't remember what score it was, but that wasn't great. But the experience was good.
Yeah.
They had a medical emergency.
They
didn't
did, yeah. Well, we were sat. I went with my family for context, and we were all stood in the crowd, and then all of a sudden, the game was called off, as you see in a lot of games nowadays, where the fans start screaming at the referee to stop the game. And that happened, and about 10 minutes later, the guy who went down for a medical emergency stands up and walks out of the crowd. So it wasn't as serious as it first obviously looked. Other than that, well, me and my girlfriend went to Paris in the summer, and we didn't quite catch the Olympics, but
City of Love.
I know.
Ooh la la.
But we did see, we were stood at the top of the Centre Pompidou, if you've heard of it,
Yeah.
Jimmy. It's a big escalator sort of shopping centre, and we were looking out over the Arc de Triomphe, and there was a massive athlete ceremony going on. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
saw that from the top of that. It was quite cool. So we sort of saw the remnants of Paris 2024, which was nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was great, yeah.
But what have you made of Bradford's starts this season then? League 2, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah, obvious.
sort of remind us. It's the 7th year in League 2 now, I think. But yeah, no, we're doing quite well, to be honest with you. We've had a little bit of a blip a few weeks ago. We've had 4 games without winning a game. We've won our last 2 though. Yeah, we're up in 7th at the moment. 3 points from the top. Obviously, it doesn't count for much this early in the season, does it?
Early on, but would you
but-
say...
I think the signs are looking good. Yeah, we've had a bit of a up and down time, but as every team does at the start of the season, do you know what I mean? Settling in. But, I mean, who knows? I'm confident again.
Yeah, it's you two have had decent starts this season. It's Chris and I who...
Are you going to talk about your Your team, Chris.
Woeful
We've
Wolves.
heard nothing from Wolves.
Woeful Wolves.
I probably should talk about Wolves, shouldn't I? Really?
Definitely.
Let's just
Bottom of the
Should we
Premier
get it out
League.
the way?
let's talk
Is it
statistically.
is it 1 point?
Let's talk statistically to start. 7 games played, 1 draw, 6 losses. We've scored 9 goals, conceded 21, so a goal difference of -12. We're left on 1 point and have lost our last 4 games in a row.
What's gone wrong?
Everything's gone wrong.
So not Michael O'Neill, Gary O'Neill still.
Gary
there,
O'Neill.
is
Gary
still
O'Neill's
there.
still the manager. The board have said that they're happy to back him. That's an interesting decision. Basically, the big issue was that we saw Max Kilman, and I've said this before on this podcast, I don't think Max Kilman is a great player. What Max Kilman was our captain. He knows our system well. He's a centre-back who
You've
is going to
lost
start every game.
Pivotal figure out of your
Yeah,
team.
and that's the thing. He was an important player in that squad. He went. We didn't replace him. So now you have Yerson Mosquera, who came back from loan at Villarreal. Great player. Had a really good start to the season. Done his ACL. Is out for the season.
Oh, right, okay.
Totti Gomez probably isn't good enough. Santi Bueno, who I like as a player, but isn't Prem proven. Craig Dawson, who is a great player,
How
but
old
is
he now?
getting
Yeah,
on.
37.
Is immobile as anything. So you've got, and that's it. That's our centre backs, right? So we have 4 centre backs,
Yeah.
one of whom is now injured, one more injury, and we're down to 2 centre backs.
Oh, goodness.
Then
Christ.
let's talk about the fullbacks. Really
Oh,
quickly,
here we go.
Right, where Aït-Nouri, I bloody love Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri is one of our best players.
But
Incredible going forward, but can't defend for shit. Nelson Semedo, decent going forward, can't defend for shit. Where's our backup left back? We don't have one. There is not another left back in the squad because we sent our backup left back out on loan.
who was that?
Hugo Bueno, who is shit, let's not lie, but we have no backup left back. Then we bought a backup right back who is good, played all of pre-season, and is now not getting game time. So I'm wondering what the hell has Pedro Lima done wrong? Midfield, I got no problems. Midfield is all good.
What about your forward line?
So this is the thing. So the midfield is fine.
Yeah.
The attackers are fine. So
Who have you
Cunha,
got up
Strand.
front?
So
Cunha?
Strand Larsen leads the line now,
Yeah.
the big Norwegian fella. Cunha sits behind him. The biggest issue that I've had, and one of the reasons why I think Gary O'Neill is not working as the Wolves manager, he has signed a 6'7" striker and is playing without wingers.
Yeah, she's not really.
So he's put
Giving him in service,
Bellegarde
eh?
out wide and Cunha out wide, and you're going, okay, so what you've got is this big fella in the box and no crosses coming into him. Bellegarde is not a winger. Bellegarde, I don't think Bellegarde even knows what he is. Bellegarde, it's like he gets sent on the pitch with no tactical direction.
Where
They
would
just
you
go.
play him?
He looks to me to be an attacking midfielder, a kind of backup Cunha, someone who can link the midfield and the attack, but he is not a winger.
Right.
We have good wingers. Rodrigo Gomez, Carlos Forbes both signed this summer, and yet they're not starting and not getting any game time.
So do you think it's sort of more a premise of you haven't reinvested properly?
We haven't reinvested properly.
Because how much money have you
for-
made
for
from your
going back 5
transfers?
years? You look at Jota. We never fully replaced Jota. Jimenez, after Jimenez got his injury, we had the
Yeah.
Jota money and spent it on Fabio Silva, who.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pin it on Fabio Silva because he was an
Is he
18-year-old
still at the
kid.
club?
He's on loan somewhere, but he'll go at some point.
Yeah.
But he was an 18-year-old kid with a 35 million price tag, and it didn't work. So there was no replacement for Jota, no replacement for Jimenez. Adama couldn't do anything when he didn't have a Jimenez character next to him. Then you had Neves went, and we didn't really replace him until this year.
But that was a lot of money
Yeah.
again, wasn't it?
And then who else was there? Nathan Collins went, and we didn't really do anything about that. So it's all these big kind of we sell players and we lose players. Okay, I'll give you a second.
Bless you.
Yeah, but we don't reinvest. And so I don't understand where the money from these sales
Yeah.
goes. I don't want to blame. The thing is, in terms of the squad makeup, I'm not going to blame that on Gary O'Neill because he has been vocal about the fact that he wants more funds. The issue that I have with Gary O'Neill is that tactically he's getting it all wrong. He brings Hwang on off the bench instead of a winger. Hwang is dog shit, right? Hwang was a good player and still has the ability to be a good player here and there. Right now, he is dog shit. So Hwang coming, his substitutions are a mess. Defensively, we look awful. We can't defend a set piece. We're leaving players just open from set pieces. We shipped 4 against Brentford in the first half.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst games of football I've ever watched. We were lucky that we scored 3 goals because it made it look like a better game than it was. In truth, they could have scored 10 and probably should have scored 10. We were awful. And I do think that we would... The thing is, I think we'd be better off with a different manager. But the thing is, a different manager only. It's like a plaster on a fucking. If I slash my leg open, I've got a cut from here to here. It's like me putting a plaster on it.
Yeah.
Like
It
you're
looks
Neil.
better. It feels better. But actually, the big problem is the owners. So until we get new owners, nothing is going to change. But yeah, that's Wolves.
Well-
That's your piece, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm expecting similar from the same from
and
you,
that's
Jimmy.
how Krish sees it. Yes, I've been watching Glee.
Yeah, oh mate, that I should have mentioned that actually. This summer I watched the whole of Glee and it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, the missus has got me into it, and I'm halfway through the first season. Yeah, we'll keep this short and snappy about United. Ten Hag's got to go. He's a bit clueless. I think that pretty much sums it up. We've had player regression. Lisandro Martinez is slow.
He
and
looks really poor this year.
He does. He looks really poor.
Did
Obviously,
he not have a big injury at the end of last year? Am I
he
making that
did.
up?
He did his foot, I think. But yeah, since then and since he's been back, he's just been poor. Luke Shaw's been nowhere to be seen. Mason Mount is perennially injured. Xerxes is not a striker. He's not.
What is Xerxes' job? I just see him running around like he's got no idea what's
to me,
going
he's
on.
just a wonder kid from FM for 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Look, I think he's supposed to be sort of like a Roberto Firmino kind of archetype. But when you don't have the goal scoring that you had from, say, Salah and Mane on either side of you, Højlund, as much as I rate him, he's been A, injury prone, and B, he's not going to get you 20 goals a season.
No.
Garnacho's not going to do that. Rashford has the ability to do that, but he hasn't shown that in the past year and a bit. He's finally working his way back into some sort of form, but we've scored 5 league goals this season.
The whole season.
In 7 games.
All right.
We've scored more than that.
only Southampton have scored fewer.
Christ.
We have a negative goal difference, as we always have done under Ten Hag. We have, I think it's, how many points are we on? 8?
8 points.
8 points after 7 games, which is our
That is
worst
abysmal, isn't it?
in the Premier League era. Beating last season's record of the worst.
Is that them beating this record from
Yeah.
the season before?
So we're regressing again, and this is the 3rd year of Eric Ten Hag. Like I've said it before on this podcast, with Ineos coming in, you can view it one of 2 ways. You view it as year 1 of the Ineos project, or you view it as year 3 of Eric Ten Hag. And I think you've got to view it as year 3 of Eric Ten Hag because they're his players.
They are his players.
Almost the entire squad are players that he's signed. On the bench against Villa was about 250 to 300 million pounds worth of players that he's signed that are now no longer good enough for the starting 11. He's out of his depth.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Is frankly, and I don't think he makes it to...
How long do you think he'll last?
I don't think he makes it to... So there's another international break, God's sake, in November. So I don't think he makes it to then. I see him going down the path that Ole went, which is he survived to the October international break, when it would have been a natural place to part ways, and he's going to lose the next couple of games. We've got. I think we play you soon, don't we?
We have you. No.
No, do we not? No.
We've got you in Boxing Day.
Oh, Boxing Day, crikey.
On-
I
on-
think
on-
we got Brentford soon, and then we play.
Brentford are tricky though. I don't like Brentford.
Yeah, I tipped them
Funnily
to go
enough.
down at the start of the season, but they've. I tell you what, Thomas Frank, fantastic manager.
Yeah.
But we won't dwell on that. Yeah, I think the one solution for United, is to get rid of Ten Hag.
Yeah.
and then
How do the board see it? Do they back him?
I don't
What's
think
the
they
line
do.
on that?
Jim Ratcliffe, the part owner, does not seem to back Ten Hag in public. He's just kind of like a we'll see, we'll wait and see.
Give him
but
time sort of approach.
Yeah, but
He's had too much bloody time.
well, he has had too much time, but it's like he's not coming out and saying this is our manager, we're stuck behind him.
Right. Yeah.
He's just saying, we'll wait and see what happens. There is no
They're just waiting for a
Certain-
good
There's
gaffer
no
to come in,
clarity,
isn't there,
is
yeah.
Look, they interviewed Thomas Tuchel over the start of the summer, and they determined that he wasn't quite the right fit, and that no one else is. So we'll back the manager that we
Yeah.
have at the moment. That's all well and good, but the manager has now not shown that this squad has progressed. You can point to individual failings as part of that, but out of possession, we are really poor. For the first 6 games of the season, Dalot was inverting into midfield, which left a ton of space that Casemiro and the centre-backs then couldn't defend, which meant that we just kept conceding, and it's horrible. And I think there is I don't think getting rid of the manager will be a magic fix and everything will get better instantly, but I think the team will improve because the team has got some really good players there.
Yeah.
And they have shown at times that they can play tidy football. And in a better system, I think they'll perform more solidly.
Question: would you take Gareth Southgate?
No.
Fair enough.
I want to see Jurgen Klopp return like the Undertaker. no Fabrizio announcement. He just turns up.
It would be, if
all black.
If Klopp came to United, it would be like when Stone Cold shook hands with
Probably-
Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
Probably take him down on purpose, wouldn't
Oh,
Yeah.
mate, could you imagine? Agent Klopp.
he? Yeah. Well, from the inside.
Yeah, honestly, that club's a mess. And Chippenham haven't been much better, to be honest. We did win at the weekend away at Aveley, which was a nice result, but we hadn't won in the league since August before then. And I saw it's a very sort of middle-aged person club, middle-aged to elderly. So there's not much discontent online. But there were a few angry comments
On
after
Facebook.
when we got knocked out of the FA Cup on like Twitter and Facebook. Go, this is shit. And you don't often see them swear because they're very polite people usually. But yeah, at least we got that win. But I think we are going to move on now, and I think we're going to talk about this week in sports.
Yep.
So
Are we not doing a little update on the Wing Wednesday FC match?
I was trying to avoid that, Chris.
We can do.
I was trying to
do
avoid
do
that.
at the end. Finish on that.
We could finish on
If we
that.
c-
I think
fly-
we've got to talk about
Fly
it.
through this, and then we'll get on to the.
We
good
will
bit.
have to talk about that.
Keep listeners.
Let's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
All right. Yeah.
right.
till
But
the-
to preview that, we all four of us are in a football team, 11-a-side football team, Wing Wednesday FC.
Don't reveal the scoreline.
That's all you're getting for now.
Yeah.
This week in sport, Jimmy.
Yeah.
This week in sport. That is all you get for now. Where do we want to start with this? Because there's been quite a lot happening.
I've literally
I've
just
just
added
seen
this
you
to the
put something in. Yeah,
the document.
Do you want to mention that?
Yeah, so the Nigeria squad, I don't know the ins and outs of this because I've just seen it on Twitter now, but by the looks of it, they were stranded in an airport in Libya for 16 hours with no food and drink available. They're now, I think Trusty-Kong, the captain, has come out and said that they are going to boycott their next game.
Wow.
Goodness me.
Because, yeah, I mean, as a professional footballing nation, being stuck in an airport for 16 hours with no food or drink is quite frankly absurd. So their game was supposed to be against Libya tomorrow night.
You've been called off.
The Nigerian team are suggesting that they're going to boycott the game.
Right.
I'm not sure what the crack is, if that'll happen, but Trusty-Kong has said, we have decided we will not play this game.
Fair
Wow.
enough.
Yeah, an interesting story there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'll quickly just touch on my thing that I've just added as well before we go into the rest of it. Is that Mike Dedeker, who beat obviously Luke
Yeah.
Humphries in the.
It's the World Grand Prix,
The
wasn't
gra-
it?
yeah.
In the
Yeah.
darts. Yeah.
And the interesting point that I pulled out of that was Luke Humphries' average completely
Yeah.
dropped
He
off
didn't look like himself yesterday.
from the
at all.
semi-final, wasn't it?
Well, he nearly came back. So Luke Humphries was a heavy favourite going into this final. No Luke Littler to be seen. How old again?
What round did he go out in?
I think he was out in round 1.
Oh.
But Luke Humphries in the darting world is just a behemoth at the
Yeah.
moment. I've got a list here of his TV appearances and how well he's done. So since winning the World Championship of darts
Against Luke, was that against Luke
against Littler in the final in January, he was the last 16 at the Masters, at the UK Open, and in the Premier League he was runner-up. He won the World Cup of Darts, and he won the World Match Play and got to the final of the World Grand Prix. So he's been immense this year. But Mike Dedeker, a 200-1 shot at the start of the tournament,
it's
complete outsider, has beaten some big names on the way. He beat Damon Heta. He's obviously beaten Luke Humphries. He's just, Belgian Dedeker.
Mm-hmm.
And he beat Luke, I think it was 6-4 or 6-5.
Yeah, well, he went on to take a 4-1 lead, and then Humphries, I think there was two rounds where he came back.
he
and sort
brought
of
it back
gave
to
him a little bit of a scare,
So
didn't
it was first to 6 sets,
he? Yeah.
and Humphries brought it back from 4-1 down to 4-all.
And
you'd-
4-all in the
Yeah,
end? Oh, right, okay.
and you'd think that, okay, he's going to go on
Yeah, but
to win it, but
The
no,
world champion.
Dedeker held firm. He's quite a young lad, but yeah, he beat some big names. If you're into the world of darts, he beat Damon Heta, the Australian. He's beat 2-time world champion Gary Anderson. Beat James Farting Wade.
That was such a funny
This
clip.
is a very clip. You go after the show
Yeah.
and find this. but in was it it wasn't a televised.
It wasn't a
event,
televised
but
thing.
someone had caught this on camera. James Wade in a match. I can't remember who it's against, but he throws a dart and then he just lets out an enormous fart.
Oh, so good.
He got the piss ripped out of him on
I
social
bet he
media
did,
for it. But yeah, Dudeka beat him. He beat Dimitri Vandenberg, and then in the final, Luke Humphreys. So yeah, a big shock in the world of darts, but not to take away from Humphreys' exceptional year.
His winning statement from Mike. I'm so happy. There we go. How many
Just sounds
so's
better
is
in a
that?
Bradford accent, doesn't it?
By the way, just on the Wade note, he blamed the sound on the Velcro on his new trainers.
Oh, God.
He said, "I now consider this matter put to bed, as I don't wish to talk about it again."
He's a funny fella.
And the Sun,
That's
which
what I say.
we
to
don't
Izzy in
endorse
the
the
morning,
Sun, but the Sun reported it as Dart star James Wade released a statement after appearing to shart during match at a loud fart noise heard on stage.
Oh my goodness, that's great. Chris, can you talk to me about cricket?
I absolutely can, yeah. It's nice to see England doing well. England playing in Pakistan at the minute. The second test starts tomorrow. But the first test was a resounding success. Ollie Pope deputising as captain after Ben Stokes was out for the first test. He returns tomorrow alongside Potts, replacing Chris Wokes and Gus Atkinson, which is a little bit harsh on Atkinson, I think, but game's the game. We've not really seen much of him overseas as of yet. But no, first test was unbelievable.
Pretty extraordinary.
Record breaking is the words we're going to use. So first in the first test, Pakistan scored 556, with Shan Masood scoring 151, and then England in response went on and scored 823
As you did.
and declared in 150 overs, which is quite frankly ridiculous. The pace at which England scored their runs was quite scary.
It was about 6 and over.
Yeah,
which in Test match cricket is unheard of.
Yeah, so you had some serious scores in there. Harry Brook scored. Let me find exactly what it was because I don't want to butcher it. Harry Brook scored 317 off 322 balls, which is for that kind of score is the second fastest ever to a triple century, only beaten by Virender Sehwag of India, who I met actually randomly. But yeah, Harry Brook scored 317. Joe Root scored 262. Zach Crawley was 78. Ollie Pope with 0, which was not ideal.
Captain's contribution there.
Then Jamie Smith with 31. Chris Wokes with 17. And then England bowled really well in Pakistan's second inning and won by an inning and 47 runs, which I don't know exactly what the thing is, but it's like one of the first times, or might even be the first time, that Pakistan have lost by an inning in Pakistan. But England's score was the fourth highest ever Test match score by one individual team, so quite frankly ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I thought we were doing well when I went to sleep. And I woke up and Harry Brook had scored a triple century. Harry Brook looks unbelievable, and if he can continue doing what he's doing away from home, he could be like if on this form, he will be the best ever cricketer away from home. He averages 140 in Pakistan.
That is incredible.
He's got it across I think 19 Test matches now. He has an average of 62.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. If he keeps up this form, he'll be the GOAT.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Oh yeah, and
But-
obviously he will peter off,
Look, there is one person in that England team who we're calling the GOAT at the moment.
and that's
Joe
got to be
Root.
Joe Root. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now England's leading Test run scorer of all time, surpassing Sir Alistair Cook, and we knew it was coming, but still a great thing to see. Joe Root still doing what Joe Root does, and we have to say this is, and hopefully will continue to be Joe Root's era of Test cricket, especially on an England front, but actually. You look across the board, there aren't many players who have Root's consistency. Like Steve Smith was great for a time, but has kind of fallen off. Barbara Azam's done the same. Kane Williamson did the same. There aren't all too many players who have Joe Root's longevity and consistency, and long may it continue.
Yeah. A little bit of an aside, but on the cricketing front, I met up with my friend Eric in Harrogate last week for a pub quiz.
Ten Hag.
No. He's not my friend.
Did he come back alive?
But Eric, my friend from back home, he's up at Uni of York now, and listener of the pod, I think.
Friend of the pod.
Hello, Eric.
Friend of the pod.
Hello, Eric.
And he was telling me about, because he plays cricket too. He
Yeah.
has done for years now, and up at York, his coach for one of his teams, bowled out Virat Kohli.
Whoa.
That's a
Do
bit
you know
of
what the
a-
coach's name is?
No,
law.
this was a warm-up match when India last. I think it was when they last toured England, or the time before. It was a few years ago now, and they were playing a warm-up match against this some county type side, I think. And he bowled out Kohli.
That's impressive. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and find this. You guys continue. I'm gonna try and find what his name
I'll
is.
ask Eric later.
Yeah.
But yeah, he told me that, and I was kind of mind blown.
Smashing. Alfie, have you got a tennis update for us?
I haven't actually really been able to see much of it, but obviously there's still the scandal of Sinner going on with his doping allegations.
So what actually happened there? What's he been accused of, found guilty of anything?
Well, I can't remember, what was it called, the drug that he's supposedly been...
I think it's Closterbol.
Well, then there was an initial investigation about that he was cleared of and allowed to play.
Trophordermin is the
thank you.
drug. Trophordermin.
And then another kind of investigation has come up where they're investigating him again based on these charges. Yeah. But he has just won another ATP tournament. It was against Alcaraz in the final, was it?
Yeah, that was
In China?
That was China Open, wasn't it?
Yeah. What score did that one finish? Do we know?
I don't know. He won it in. I'm pretty
Probably
sure.
that is your job, pal.
No,
I've got a break this
Alcaraz beat him at China Open.
Okay, China.
Alcaraz beat him in straight sets, I think, and then Sinner's just won the Shanghai Open.
Shanghai.
So they've been back to back.
Shanghai Masters
Shanghai
Shanghai
Masters.
against Djokovic.
So that's a 1,000 event. So that's a lot of ranking points there.
That is.
He's had a fantastic year though, Sinner. He's won both hard court Grand Slams, Australian Open and US Open. He's won Shanghai. I think he won Monte Carlo.
But would you say it's been undermined by this kind of scandal? Or do you still think his quality is...
I think it kind of has. It casts a shadow, no doubt. The controversy has been more with the tennis authorities' handling of it and their inconsistency, because they've handed out quite hefty bans to people like Simona Halep for being accused of doping. But with Sinner, they allowed him to play for several tournaments before they provisionally suspended him. But he was cleared of any wrongdoing. But the Court of Arbitration for Sport, like the big legal governing body, they are still investigating this. So I think where it came from was a physio had used some sort of healing cream, antibiotic cream that had a bit of steroid in it, and it was a microdose. So, but a lot of elite athletes microdose. That's the way to get around drug testing nowadays. So whether you believe Sinner fully is up for interpretation, but it does cast a shadow over his year.
And it has been a kind of crazy year that he's had, because he's got a really good record of wins versus losses. I think the last time I saw it was like 40-something to 6 that he'd lost, or something like that. And it was only Alcaraz that he'd actually lost to.
It's a great rivalry for the years to come.
Well, yeah, because you've got Nadal's retired now.
I suppose that's the biggest news this week, isn't it? That
Yeah,
the king of clay.
Yeah.
Is gone. Well, isn't it just retired yet?
Well,
is it?
he'll
Is it
be
He
November?
will be, yeah.
He'll be retiring after the Davis Cup,
Right. Okay.
which is like the World Cup of tennis,
Right.
I suppose.
So he's won,
Not quite on the same
22,
level.
22 Grand Slams. I think that's is it fourth most.
Well, if you
In-
second
in
most
history?
male, and then I think fourth most overall.
Overall.
So behind Djokovic,
Serena Williams.
and Margaret Court, but we don't really count Margaret Court.
She like who's that Everton player? Like who's got the most like Premier League goals in a season?
What's his name?
No idea.
Oh, you know who I mean though.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but like from a different era, so we kind of don't count it.
Not Astle, is it?
What is some like 1900s player?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Most
but,
goals
you know.
in a top flight series.
Top flight. Yeah, it'll be some
Dixie Dean.
Dixie Dean. That's it.
Dixie
Dixie
Dean.
Dean.
Margaret Court, Dixie Dean. There
Yeah.
you go. There's your
Same kind of
obscure
like,
comparison.
Just
for the
quickly, while we're talking about people who have had great sporting summers, I feel like it would be remiss of me not to mention Scotty Scheffler in the golf, who has basically smoked it. Won the Olympic gold. Let me pull up the exact stats. So this season, Mr. Scheffler has, right, how do I see like per year? Right, here we go. So he won the Tour Championship, Travellers Championship, Memorial Tournament, RBC Heritage, the Masters, the Players, and the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He also then won the Olympic gold medal.
Ridiculous.
And the amount of money that man has made this summer,
And he's been arrested.
and he's been, yeah, oh my god, yeah, we like that was genuinely some of the coolest shit I've ever seen. Scotty Scheffler getting arrested, then just coming back and playing like nothing had happened. It was that was in terms of golf Twitter, that's one of the funniest.
So was
days.
he the guy who drove past the police escort?
Yeah,
Was that
yeah.
him? Right. Okay. Yeah,
Where
but
was it? He was arrested. What it was the PGA Championship, wasn't it?
Yeah,
California, wasn't it?
USPGA.
Yeah. Which he then came. He went on to finish in the tied 8th for
Yeah.
that. But that was some of the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like, what a boy! And yes, he's got that big match against. Who is it? Right, let me find the exact thing it is.
Match?
'Cause- huh?
Golf match?
Yeah, it's basically Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, and Scotty Scheffler. It's a 2v2. They call it the Showdown. I'm going to write an
Oh.
article for Proddy about it.
Okay.
we
But-
haven't actually mentioned
Yeah,
that.
Proddy is also
Yeah.
sports
Sport
editor at the Griffin now.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's an 18-hole exhibition match. They're each going to pocket $4 million each
Crikey.
just for taking part. But it's happening in Vegas on the 17th of December, and it's a 2v2, I think. So it's going to be McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler versus Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. So kind of live versus PGA,
Right, okay.
which will be such a cool thing.
It's kind of like the Six Kings tournament in tennis.
Yeah.
What you'll have to explain that one to me.
It's kind of like the major players that kind of going against each other. in
That's
a
quite
tournament.
cool. Yeah, but it's like that.
all-star thing. Like,
Yeah.
all-stars are like events that kind of transcending sport.
Mm.
They're going into everything now.
Yeah, I want to see. I think I've said this before, but I want to see Premier League All-Star games.
Mm.
I would love to see like in the same way that the NBA has their All-Star weekend. Give us a weekend where there is no Premier League matches, and give me the best players in the Premier League playing against each other.
What a
That
draft.
would be good.
Yeah,
Draft style
you
system.
have two captains. They pick the teams in a draft style thing.
I don't think it's sort of suited to the sport though, is it really?
Oh,
Sort
but
of goes
imagine you could
against
do it like
interest.
five-a-side. How sick would
would
that
be
be?
an ace.
There's just like too many players, isn't there?
Yeah. I think
Or you do it by fan voting.
I think where it'd work is if they sort of reintroduce sort of a Masters sort of format. You know, they used to do the football
Yeah.
Masters.
Yeah,
Sort
yeah.
of games.
Honestly,
you get
though, it would be some
Your
cool
players
shit.
that have retired
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, get Roy Keane and
Oh, mate,
Thierry
imagine
Henry
like a little
on the same
five-a-side
team.
tournament. You get like
Oh.
a game a week.
Imagine.
Oh man, it'd be
Imagine.
tidy that.
Just look quickly on the Nigeria story, Chris.
Yeah.
I've seen a quick post on Twitter, scrolling through Twitter. Victor Boniface, the Leverkusen's, is it
Yeah,
Leverkusen
yeah.
striker, has just put on his Twitter regarding the situation. He said, "This is getting scary now. You guys can have the point," referring to Libya.
Yeah.
And we just want to return to our country. So,
Blimey.
yeah, a bit of a scary situation. Isn't it?
Yeah, well, hope all goes well with that. I want to talk about something that we have never talked about before on All in Good Sport: sailing,
What the hell?
because it's
What
What?
the fuck?
the most.
time constraints,
It's the
Jimmy,
most.
we've got 20 minutes left.
Yeah, I will be brief on this,
Okay.
but it involves Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe
Mm.
and Britain's most decorated sailor, Sir Ben Ainsley. It's the America's Cup, which is the most prestigious challenge in all of sailing. So the America's Cup is basically two boats go head-to-head in a series of races. I think it's first to 7 and around. So they're in Barcelona this time, but it started all the way back 173 years ago.
Blimey.
The reason I'm talking about this is because Great Britain have never won the America's Cup in 173 years. The last time it tried was back in, got to the final, so there's kind of like a challenger series and you get all the way up to the final. But they haven't been there since, I think it's the 80s, 1983.
Blimey.
Sorry, Yeah, 1964 even.
Oh,
So
Christ.
hasn't been in the final series
Yeah.
since 1964. It's usually dominated by the New York Yacht Club or the Royal New Zealand Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, Ineos have a team, so
Ooh.
bankrolled by Ineos with
Yeah.
Sir Ben Ainsley,
Mm.
the best of British. Ben Ainsley, who has won the America's Cup before, but he was racing for, I think he was racing for New York at the time. So they're up against New Zealand. It would be an incredible achievement if Great Britain could bring the America's Cup back onto home soil for the first time in nearly 2 centuries. It's never happened before, so it would be the first time ever. But it's not looking good at the moment. They're 4-0 down in the series against New Zealand. It's being hosted in...
The team's called Ineos Britannia.
Well, it's
That's
Britain.
quite cool, that.
Yeah.
That's quite cool.
But
that.
they're getting smoked at the moment.
Yeah, they're
so
getting killed.
what could have been a really exciting development...
60 year wait for...
60 years since they've even been in the final,
All right, so they've never won it.
and they've
No.
never won it. They invited, I think so when it started 173 years ago, some toffs invited a group of Americans to have a race, and the Americans destroyed them.
Of course.
And since then, the Americans and the New Zealand Kiwis, they usually dominate.
New Zealand.
The New Zealanders. But yeah, I just thought that was a little interesting aside. It's been promoted quite heavily
Yeah.
this week. I've seen it in a lot of back pages on the newspapers. So yeah, it's not looking good for them though. 4-0 down, first to 7.
I do think I can top you on Brook Sports, Lord
Whoa,
Jimmy.
whoa, no.
Okay. Top me, Joe.
Calm down, man. Have any of you been watching the CrossFit Games over the summer? Did you watch? Heard of the
No,
CrossFit
but
Games?
there was
the-
there was
There was the person
yeah.
who died in the
Yeah,
drowning.
yeah.
So someone who I work with in my office, Jess, she's really into this CrossFit debacle, whatever it's
Yeah.
called. And we had it on in the office, and we saw the guy.
Bloody hell, like,
swimming.
as it happened.
We all sat there in the office, having a cup of tea.
Because I saw
doing
it on
our-
Twitter.
doing our fixtures,
yeah.
and then the stream cut off and it was
Bad,
cut, yeah.
like bad.
It was.
That.
So, yeah,
I know that there was the talk of legal action being pursued against
Yeah,
them
well, I don't know what that's
for negligence. I
about
don't know if
now,
that's
but yeah,
that's
that was a
happened,
while ago
but,
now.
But yeah, that was really tough to see actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a really yeah. Also, we should probably mention that this week George Baldock passed away,
He did, yeah.
and I don't know if we know the details on that kind of story, but
He did
I
drown.
think it was in
Was it?
a
Okay.
swimming pool or something like
Yeah.
that. But it's sad, isn't it?
yeah, 31. Obviously played in the Premier League with Sheffield United, and then
And
has gone
Well,
across
he was
to Greece.
due to play
yeah.
England,
He was
wasn't
going to
he?
play England.
Yeah.
wasn't
He
he?
he was playing for Panathinaikos.
Well pronounced.
Well, I know that because
how would you have said it, Krish?
I wouldn't.
But yeah, so he used to play for. He played for Oxford United. He played for Sheffield United, and then back to his. Well, he's a Greek international, so I'm not sure if it's his native Greece, but he's definitely got Greek family, and he's representing the Greek
Yeah.
national team due to play England. But unfortunately, passed away. Really sad. But the Greek team, in fairness to them, they completely showed England
Well,
up.
they did, didn't they?
They didn't want to play this match. They wanted it called off because they're mourning
course,
the
yeah.
loss of their
Yeah.
teammate.
Well, imagine being on international duty and you wake up the next morning and one of your teammates has died.
Exactly, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But they did, and they beat England 2-1.
Fair
So-
play.
Yeah, and they held up a
Yeah.
shirt, didn't they?
Yeah.
To sort of
Of course.
yeah,
yes,
to
you do,
pay
yeah.
tribute to him.
So absolutely fair play to them.
Yeah, I think that's the most like England lose, but no one gave a shit that England had lost.
Well,
because-
we were too busy competing in our journalism,
Yeah.
wasn't we, at the time? But yeah,
But what I mean is there wasn't necessarily that much backlash on Twitter as there is when England normally lose
Yeah.
because
yeah.
given the situation, they deserve to
Of
win.
course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a tough one to.
Should
to
we move
see.
on?
I think we should.
Oh my
to-
god! Okay.
To Wing Wednesday FC.
Yeah, the result. Alfie, do you want to reveal what score it was?
What-
Can we just
No.
give a bit of context first and just say right? So Alex Dulake, who I know listens to the podcast.
Also, named after.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
the man
That's-
who
that's-
Joe's band is named
That's
after.
where we take our name.
But
For
Alex
some
Dulake
reason.
decided to set up a 11-a-side team in the uni social leagues, where we would compete, and I'll use compete loosely, where we would take part in games against other social teams. Our debut game was yesterday.
Leeds Huron.
against Leeds. I think Huaren is the.
It's a Chinese.
Yeah,
word,
so
isn't
it's
it?
the word I think for Chinese like expats.
Is that
So
what it
it's
is?
the international students and basically people from China who aren't living in China. So we turned up to the game. Sort of we've all four of us all four of us playing.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited. Brand new thing, new team, new league. It can only it's going to be a good game. Probably tell us what the score was.
First minute in.
Well, yeah, we lost.
Actually, I do have to
Okay.
say. Okay, the first. So I think you can tell we lost this game. The first goal we conceded a minute in. Now I am taking the blame for this one. I'm playing right back. The ball sort of comes past me, and I shit myself. I absolutely shit it, and I try and pass it back to Proddy,
Lever it back to him.
and I hit it. I hit it with some force straight at Proddy. Proddy, you talk me through what happened after that.
Yeah, then I kind of had a bit of a bad touch, lost the ball, and then just took the player with me.
Oh yeah,
Penalty.
Proddy was in net for
Yeah.
reference.
30 seconds into your first
Yeah.
match, you're giving away a
Yeah.
penalty.
And you're lucky not to be
And he's
sent
been
off.
booked.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
very lucky
Fine.
to be still on the pitch.
What was the score, Alfie?
It finished 11-0.
It's not great. It's not great, is it?
By the second half, I've retired from playing and have now taken up a managerial role within the club.
You were
Yeah.
barking orders from the side.
Yeah.
Uh, what-
That's my new job.
So the match, if you like to indulge in
Laughing at us.
a bit of Schadenfreude, then the match is available on the Leeds Warren YouTube. It's split into two 45-minute videos because these are 90-minute 11-a-side matches. Proper shit.
Yeah. Heavy
Yeah.
shift.
To be fair, Joe, you played really well.
Yeah,
I thought
thank you. Yeah.
Joe replaced me at right
like
back.
For like situation.
Joe replaced me at right back and smashed it.
It's about 60,
which is-
about 70 minutes. I
Yeah,
played,
which is
the more
why
sort of-
I've retired. We don't need me when we've got Joe Rainbow. Jimmy Blackburn had a smashing game. I thought some really nice passes. Proddy, you grew into the game
Yeah.
very well.
Is
Made
it-
some really
yeah.
nice saves.
Once I kind of got my confidence
Show,
back.
Proddy,
after
do
that
you want to
first-
show the camera your injury?
Ooh, it might get trigger warning in the video.
I think you'll be all right.
Are we getting him like
Get him on the table or
Just for
something.
context, all day today we've been walking around.
hobbling?
Prod, do you want to come up to the front
shall
and
we
do
say?
it?
Is this going to be our first NSFW?
Yeah, I guess look away if you're
I
like
might-
squeamish.
Might have to blur this one.
You'll have to lift it up a tad.
Take it out, Alfie.
So that's Proddy's.
Proddy's
Probably been through the
fucked knee.
wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Poor-
So we.
poor Proddy.
It was a poor start from us.
It was.
But actually, saying that 11-0 wasn't necessarily reflective of the game. I think.
Well, we shipped 3 in the last 10 minutes because
Yeah.
of fatigue. And,
Yeah, and
you know,
also we just
were
legged
already
it up.
7-0 down. do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
in the second half, we were 5 or 6-0 down at half time. But our spirits never waned.
I think that was the best half of football.
And if you want to hear,
of the two.
if you want to hear and see some serious managerial barking, right? Have a listen to this with the audio on. You can hear me giving some shouts. We got Joe Rainbow's positioning right, and then he smoked it. But yeah, no. So I'm not going to be playing on Wednesday. I'm going to be.
Are you not?
I'm going to be no.
Oh, you're going to be there though.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to be there.
Gaffer.
But I'm going to be deputising for the
Assistant
gaffer. Yeah, assistant manager is the
With
is
the
official title.
off-field manager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we've named a new captain.
Who?
Henry's going to take the armband.
Okay.
With Tom Evans as vice captain, which I think
has
works.
Henry played? Did Henry play the week?
Henry didn't play,
didn't.
Henry
but-
had a clash with Jogsock.
but he was playing for Jogsock.
Oh, right. So, it's
Yeah.
a proper
Yeah,
baller,
yeah.
this fella.
Henry's he's a
Ooh.
Tall,
tidy little
lanky,
player.
ginger centre back. Exactly what we need.
Yeah, we needed a
Definitely.
centre back yesterday.
You
Yeah.
put him and Tom alongside me and Ramsey.
Exactly.
It'll
You're
help us
laughing,
out a
yeah.
little bit, yeah.
100%.
If you'd have bet on Jimmy Blackman's shot on target, you would have won your money. Is all I'll say.
If you'd have bet on Joe scoring a goal to then be ruled out offside, you've also won
Yeah,
a bit of
Joe
money.
scored. Because to be fair, so when you first came on, you played right wing, didn't
Well,
you?
for some reason, I don't know who it was. Was it you?
No, that was before me. But basically,
But no, I
we-
came on at right back.
and then
Bryn was right wing.
you
and
and
someone,
Bryn, we had to swap you and Bryn because
Why was
defensively
that?
we just wanted a bit more composure. Because
Yeah.
first
Okay.
half, we'll be honest, neither of us played particularly well first half.
No, I was shattered after about 10 minutes.
But then when you came back on to play right back in the second half, you were far better.
Oh, yeah,
You'll
yeah,
start on
I
on
think-
Wednesday.
I think that right wing, it was a bit of a weird sort of spot. I found.
Yeah.
I've never played right wing in my life before. And then all of a sudden, over end of pitch, Freddie flick on, ball it back at net. I heard the whistle.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've got to get a ball back at net for a bit of pride. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But no, it was a lot of fun. And I think on Wednesday we'll give them a game.
Yeah, we're playing them
Well,
again on Wednesday.
Let's just try to keep the score below 10 this time.
Yeah.
I think it's doable. Yeah.
below 11.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Keep it
we
single
were
figure.
scheduled to play another team in the league called Dubai Athletes last Wednesday, but the game got called off because of
Rain.
soggy pitch. So it got rescheduled to Sunday, but they didn't. It wasn't them. We played Leeds Warren instead. We were scheduled to play Leeds Warren as our second fixture, so we are. But that game against Dubai Athletes has seemingly not been rescheduled because we're playing Leeds Warren again a few weeks later. So, yeah,
That's not very nice.
it's not very nice. But
know that.
if we can gradually
Maybe we'll lose
improve-
11-0, 10-0, and then 7, maybe.
Oh,
Right,
that would be a
cool.
big improvement.
I
In a few
think
months.
genuinely, I was talking to Nick and Alex. Nick, for reference, is the sort of manager. Alex is the bloke who's running the show. And I was chatting to them yesterday. And we were saying, actually, if we eradicate a lot of those mistakes, which came from us having never played together as a team.
Well, to think about it, we haven't trained together all the
No.
team, have we? We don't have training sessions.
No.
Just kick about in the park. Man.
But this is the thing. So, like, going forward, we'll have a plan, we'll have a tactic, and then that's where my job is to try and kind of get that, like, keep that consistent. And so, when shit's going wrong, I theoretically am going to be in a position to be able to sort that out. Hopefully, so we'll see. But no, exciting, and that's on Wednesday.
If
And then the
anybody wants
video-
to come down,
Yeah, if anyone in Leeds actually
come on, give us
listens to this,
as much support as we can, please.
Yeah.
We'll be at Boddington Football Hub. We will be on pitch number 1, I believe.
no idea, could be.
It'll be on the Social League website. But Boddington Football Hub, which is north of Headingley.
Wheatwood. Is it
Yeah,
Wheatwood?
Wheatwood. So come on down, give us some support, cheer on your Wing Wednesday FC star men, and let's try not to lose so badly.
Yeah, we're at Wheatwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Um,
was thinking earlier on, Alfie, you mentioned the
on the
GoPros.
3G
Maybe,
pitch,
maybe we could get some GoPros for our game. That'd be
Well,
quite
that
cool, that, wouldn't it?
Some GoPros would be
Put
cool.
a GoPro in Jimmy's head.
Look, as long as we do better than what. So I texted my mum about the result this morning, and she said, and then I said we're playing them again on Wednesday. She said, "I bet you'll lose 24-0."
Oh,
so
That's not very nice.
if
is
we
it?
could, if
That's
we could,
horrible.
if we could do,
Why would your mum say that?
because she's clearly underestimates the power of the bond of Wing Wednesday.
The Wing Wednesday.
Yeah.
The Wing Wednesday bond.
Fair enough.
And we're going to be playing on a Wednesday. Surely that's a good luck
Yeah, we said that yesterday in the pub.
And then
but-
40p wings. Straight.
Yeah.
charm. Lovely.
and then Boogaloo if we win.
I've got work the next morning.
Work schmirk if we win. If we win, you've got to come out.
You don't even like Boogaloo. You just go there because you get in free entry.
I
Yeah,
love
exactly.
Boogaloo. It's great.
I don't like
The-
Boogaloo,
the,
but
the tunes
if I don't have to pay for a
right
ticket,
down
then I'm alright.
me and your street, aren't they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We should wrap this up, shouldn't
We
we?
should
We
wrap this
should,
up. Yeah,
yeah.
we're just
Yeah.
kind of waffling here. But no, it's been nice to be back.
It's been great. yeah.
I'm going to hold you boys to this Monday slot. We're just going to have to stick with
This
it.
is fine for me. It's absolutely fine for me.
It's just the big boss over
The
there.
Prodster.
Yeah.
It's any time between the 3 and 5. I start work at 5. Then it's 3 onwards, as long
Yeah.
as we finish before about
No,
20
sweet.
to 5.
Well, hopefully we'll
sound.
be with you every Monday. This should be out tonight, as long as I'm not lazy and I actually edit it. But yeah, no, it's nice to be back. A lot to come. I will put on that Instagram post or story about all the kind of radio shows we do and all the things you can see from us. But yeah, no, I don't really have much else to say. I think anyone got anything
No,
final
really.
to add?
No, thank you for
Yeah, thanks for listening again. If you do listen.
Yeah, thanks
you
for
get
all.
this far.
Thanks for all three of you for listening.
Do you reckon there's anybody at the point listening to this
no.
turned off after
Not
2
one.
after half an hour?
They turned off after.
As soon as sailing got mentioned, that was it.
Yeah.
Retention dropped. But no, yeah. Please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow the Do Lakes.
Yeah.
Um,
Please.
Listen,
yeah.
listen to all the radio shows.
Listen to all the
time.
radio shows. Listen to all the podcasts. Tell your friends about them. Tell your mum, your dad,
Tell
whoever.
your dog.
Yeah.
No.
Just leave it playing in the background on
Well, the
loop.
dog would actually fucking listen.
But no, yeah. Thank you for listening. I've been Chris Tarkor.
I'll be Joe Rainbow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been Alfie Langford.
And I've been
Cheers.
Jimmy Blackburn.
Thank you very much.
Thank
See you
you.
next week. Well,
Bye.
Bye-bye.